Hello again, welcome back to the PhatPhish Guitar Studio, where it's time for another scale of the week. This week we're going to be looking at a scale with a slightly unusual name, but it's very versatile and a scale which you really should have in your vocabulary, and that is the Mixolydian Mode. Now when you first start to look at it, the Mixolydian Mode looks very much like a major scale. It's got the formula 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is where it deviates from the major scale. It's got a flat 7 and then it takes us back to the octave. The Mixolydian mode occurs as the 5 mode of the major scale. If you're not familiar with Modal Theory, I'll put a link or two in the information section down there to some other tutorials that I've done on YouTube and on the main PhatPhish website that talk about modes in a bit more detail. Assuming you understand what modes are, let's look at the Mixolydian mode in a little bit more detail. Looking at the formula again, we know that it's a major type of mode because there's an interval of a major third between the first degree and the third. So it's a major mode. And it's a little bit different from the major scale having that flat 7th, which is more of a minor characteristic. So if you could think of it as a slightly minor sounding major scale. Anyway, let's fire up PhatPhish and have a look at how we can play the Mixolydian mode on the guitar. So in a guitar in standard tuning, this is the Mixolydian mode based upon the root note of A. As always, we'll try and break this down to a nice movable scale box. So let's take some of those notes away, leave us with a box that looks like this. So that's roughly 1 finger per fret, so it's a reasonably straightforward box to play. Because it's movable, wherever that root note is, you can take that box, move it around, and wherever the root note lands, that's the Mixolydian mode based upon that note. So here we've got A Mixolydian, here we've got G Mixolydian, B Mixolydian, and so on. Do remember though that the notes of any scale occur right the way across the fingerboard, so as well as just having this one scale shape that you can use, look at other ways of being able to finger the scale across the fingerboard to give you some more flexibility rather than just being tied to around a space of like 4 or 5 frets when you're playing within a simple box. As I said before, the Mixolydian mode is the 5th mode of the major scale. So it's the kind of sound that you get if you play the notes of a major scale over the 5th degree. So let's look at, for argument's sake, A major. We've got these notes: A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp and A. 5th degree of A major is E. So if we play the notes of the A major scale over an E bass note, that's giving us a Mixolydian type of sound. Another way you can hear that is just by playing chords from the key of A major over the E bass note. So we could play something like a D major 7 over an E bass note, E7 over an E bass note, A major over an E bass note. It's all about that bass note. It's all about your ear being drawn towards the 5th degree that's being played as the lower note there. Because the Mixolydian mode occurs as the 5th mode of the major scale, you can use it over any dominant family chord, so dominant 7th, dominant 9, any of the extended dominant chords. It's very useful in a blues context, but to be honest, it's a very versatile mode, so that's why I was saying at the start of this video, it's worth having in your scale vocabulary regardless of what type of music you play. You probably have some scope for using the Mixolydian mode. But because it works so well over a dominant 7 type chord, that's got quite a bluesy sort of sound, so using the Mixolydian mode in a blues context works quite well. You might also want to experiment with adding notes to the Mixolydian mode. You don't have to play the mode strictly just as the notes from the mode itself, add something in. saying it's useful in a blues context, why don't we add in the classic blue note, the flat fifth? So you've got the Mixolydian mode. Let's add a flat 5 into that and get something like this. Something you can experiment with. Also, you can think of blues as having a bit of a major minor duality, ambiguity to it. So why not try adding a flat third into the Mixolydian mode? So you've got the natural third that comes with the Mixolydian mode itself, and then add in a flat third of your own. Or the flat third and the flat fifth. All things you can experiment with. You know, try recording some chords as a backing track, playing over the top with the straight Mixolydian mode, and then try adding in notes like a flat third or a flat fifth and see how it sounds. You know, it's all about taking the basic building blocks that music theory gives us and then seeing how we can adapt them and use them as ways to express musical ideas that you might have, you know, inside your head, inside your inner ear, and being able to actually make the relevant noises come out of the instrument, you know, whether it's a guitar, keyboard, or whatever it is you happen to play. So there's plenty there for you to practice, experiment with, be creative, and most importantly have fun while you're doing it. Thanks very much for watching. If you're not subscribed to the PhatPhish Guitar Studio channel on YouTube already, then on YouTube there's a button down there marked subscribe, so please click that. If you are subscribed, thank you very much for doing so. I really appreciate your interest and your support for PhatPhish. In the meantime, keep practicing. I shall hopefully see you in another video sometime soon. Bye for now. You know, because this is a dominant family chord, it occurs on the 5th degree of the major scale, you can use this over the... How unprofessional. Hello, you're live on YouTube.